Ben Simmons wants out of Philadelphia. Welcome back, YouTube. It is Saiko here, and today we're here with another video. And in this video, we're going to be discussing a Ben Simmons trade to 3 potential California teams, maybe even a 4th, and maybe even a wild card team that, for Ben Simmons at least, isn't really in his plans. But before we get into the video, if you guys could please hit the like button, it would really help out the video, get out to more channels, or get out to more people's recommended feed, and hit subscribe because it helps the channel grow. Anyways, let's get on to the video. Now, we've all known throughout like the entire summer, or at least off season, ever since the Philadelphia 76ers got eliminated by the Hawks last year, or I guess last year, I mean as in like a few months ago, not even last year, that Ben Simmons wants out of Philadelphia, or at least that a lot of people, including like Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers, were talking about like they don't really know how to play with him, or like what they could really do to kind of help him get back into the game, or be not much of a liability on the offensive side of the ball. I almost said defensive side of the ball. Completely wrong comment right there. But it looks like Ben Simmons, despite the fact that he took the Olympics off and he wasn't answering Joel Embiid's phone calls, and apparently now he's not even answering front office phone calls from the Sixers or even anyone from the organization's calls. Looks like he wants out of Philadelphia. And where does he want to go? 3 California teams. And I think that if there isn't an article already out there, I think we all know what Californian teams he wants to go to. And to be honest with you, looking at the 3 California teams, and if you don't know who they are, it's Golden State, the Lakers, and the Clippers. Out of all 3 of those teams, I don't really want Ben Simmons on any of those teams. And I guess I'll go one by one, starting with the Golden State Warriors, Lakers, and then Clippers. I'm going in order of just like, I don't know what order I'm going. I guess like in terms of like the hierarchy, in terms of where they are on the map, since Golden State is all the way in NorCal and Los Angeles all the way in SoCal, the Golden State Warriors are going to be the first team I talk about here. So the first team I want to talk about is Golden State, and if you think about it, what are they going to trade? You already have Draymond, who basically does the same thing as Ben Simmons, except he'll actually try and shoot threes. I know that a lot of people are just like, whatever. I mean, there's that whole clip of Karl Anthony Towns just kind of waving him off when he was trying to shoot a 3, but at least Draymond shoots threes, and plus he's really the heart and soul of that team. When you look at Draymond and you compare him to Ben Simmons has such a nonchalant attitude about the way he goes about things, and even thinking about like the way that he is, because I mean, he wants to go to a California team because that's where his lifestyle is gonna be pretty much suited. If that doesn't tell you anything about Ben Simmons, that I don't know what will. Because if you trade Wiggins, you have him and Draymond, and then if you trade Draymond, he's just not gonna fit well with the team. Like, Draymond is legitimately, like I said before, the heart and soul of this team, so why would they trade him? I mean, yeah, he made that whole thing about like, they'd trade me instead of you, Kevin Durant, but like, Draymond is way too valuable on the, just as a locker room presence, compared to a guy like Ben Simmons, who, I don't know. I just don't see him fitting in Golden State at all. The second team that Ben Simmons wants to go to is the Los Angeles Lakers. And I mean, or at least what I'm predicting is the Los Angeles Lakers, because who wouldn't want to be in LA? Especially if you live the lifestyle that Ben Simmons does. LA is literally the place you want to be. But it's like, what would they even trade for him? Like, that's the biggest question about Ben Simmons. What would the Lakers give up in order to trade for him? Because I don't think they can trade Russell Westbrook because they just traded for him. They can't trade AD because they gave up literally a million picks for him. And they can't trade LeBron because he's goddamn LeBron James. And even if you were to trade him, what are the Lakers giving up? Russell Westbrook and a bunch of second-round picks? The Sixers are not going to do that. Plus, the Sixers want to throw in Tyrese Maxey in a deal, which I don't understand why they would want to do that, because if you trade Tyrese Maxey, you need to at least get a point guard in return. And if you trade with the Warriors, you're not going to get a point guard. And if you trade with the Lakers, why would you want Russell Westbrook next to Joel Embiid? Number one, they hate each other. And number two, they do the exact same fucking thing, except Ben Simmons actually plays defense, and Russell Westbrook is all hustle and no IQ. As much as I hate to say that, because I love Westbrook, he's all hustle, no IQ. He would be a way better leader than Ben Simmons. Obviously, he'd be a better locker room presence. But as a player for Embiid, you want a guy who can actually shoot. And I mean, yeah, Russ shoots mid-range jumpers and stuff like that, but he's not going to shoot the 3. Or at least if he does shoot the 3, it's not going to go in. And you want at least a point guard who can shoot decently from 3 with Joel Embiid. And last but not least, I think the last California team he would want to go to is the LA Clippers, but why would the Clippers do this trade? Like, you have Kawhi and PG. You have literally two of the best all defensive guys on your team. Kawhi Leonard, hopefully if he comes back anything like he was before this ACL injury, is legitimately like a candidate for defensive player of the year if he continues to play the way that he's been, or at least if he continues to defend the way that he has in the past, and he continues this and the ACL doesn't really affect him, because he's not a guy who really relies on his athleticism. He has that one dunk and that's it. But I mean, the defense is probably a big question, but I'd rather have Kawhi than Ben Simmons any day of the week. Kawhi knows how to win, and plus his quiet personality, as much as it's such an opposite of Ben Simmons, I think it's just such a better fit for the Clippers, because if anything, I know that the Clippers, the first year that they got Paul George and Kawhi, they were like so loud about it, and then last year they were completely silent, or at least they didn't really talk a lot about what they were doing, which is what I loved about them. Is legitimately the perfect match for what the Clippers should have. And I don't see Paul George being traded from the Clippers as well, because Kawhi wanted to play with Paul George. He doesn't want to play with Ben Simmons. Plus, I mean, yeah, it'll give the Clippers a true point guard, I guess. But Paul George's offensive output compared to Simmons's offensive output is completely different. And I would way, way, way rather have Paul George over Ben Simmons if I need a guy to get a bucket for me. And plus, just Kawhi and PG in general compared to Ben Simmons is just such a better fit in LA than compared to like Kawhi and Ben Simmons. And with Kawhi out this year, Ben Simmons is gonna be the guy that has to carry that load. And I don't think he's the type of guy to do that. I mean, yeah, he's a point guard, and yeah, we've seen him go off, but it's just one of those rare occasions where he goes off. He's not really a guy that's going to want to go off and have to score like 30 points a night or something like that. He's not going to be that guy. PG, after what he did in the playoffs, definitely will be that guy though. And after thinking about it, honestly, I think the three teams in California that I named, I don't think any of those places are going to be a trade destination for Ben Simmons. If anything, I think Ben Simmons would be great in Sacramento, because Buddy Hield wants out. Buddy Hield would be perfect in Philadelphia. I don't want them to trade De'Aaron. I don't want them to trade Tyrese Halliburton. I think the two pieces on Sacramento that are pretty much untouchable should be De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton, because I think De'Aaron Fox is one of the most underrated point guards in the NBA. Spoiler for a future video that might come out within a few days, but I didn't say that. But I think that a trade package revolving around Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley would probably be the best fit for Philadelphia. But then again, I don't really know, because Philly also has Seth Curry, so maybe they do try a De'Aaron Fox trade or a Tyrese Halliburton trade, but I'd rather the Kings keep them. But then again, the Kings are a horrible organization and have drafted horribly. But that's why I want them to get rid of Marvin Bagley and Buddy Hield, because Buddy Hield doesn't want to be there. Both of them actually don't want to be there. Apparently, Marvin Bagley II is talking about like how he hates Swiper the Fox or whatever, or how Marvin Bagley hates Swiper the Fox. Like, and I don't know. It's just so chaotic in Sacramento that I think a change of scenery for both Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley would be perfect. You could just have Marvin Bagley come off the bench behind. I just realized that the Sixers have Andre Drummond, but I mean, I guess he could be a backup to Tobias Harris. I don't really know. He does kind of stretch the floor, but hopefully he can just unlock his potential in Philly. I honestly think that the two of those guys in Philly would be perfect. I mean, you'd probably have Seth Curry run the 1 and then have Buddy Hield at the 2. You'd have Tobias or Danny Green at the 3. Danny Green is still there, right? Danny Green at the 3. If you want to run Bagley, you can run Tobias at 3. You can run Bagley at 4 if he's healthy, and you can run Joel at 5, of course. And I honestly don't think that would be that bad of a team. Although I don't really know how good of a playmaker Seth Curry is, just because I feel like he's more of a spot-up shooter. What am I talking about? The Sixers still have Shake Milton that can run the point guard, and I mean, whenever Shake Milton did play last year, or at least whenever Shake Milton pretty much got minutes, he was pretty solid, I'd say. So him being a starting point guard for them wouldn't be too bad. And yeah, I just think that a Sacramento trade for them makes the most sense compared to the other 3 California teams. If you don't want to trade him to a California team like he requests, you can trade him to Oklahoma City, or even hell, I don't think they would want to. I don't think Oklahoma City would say yes, but hell, they could trade him to Toronto. But that is pretty much it for this video. I don't really know where Ben Simmons would go. If anything, it's not any of the three main California teams that are really good. I think it's more of the secondary California team in Sacramento that he would be best at. Comment down below what you guys think, or at least where do you think Ben Simmons is going to go, because obviously he doesn't want to show up to training camp. Let me know down below. My name's Saiko. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. I don't know why I had a problem saying that. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video.